So this is our LED slider Arduino code. This code goes in hand with our MIT app. In the app, we created a slider that will send the slider values to the ESP32 via Bluetooth, and these slider values will be updated into the LED. The slider values control how bright the LED is. 0 makes the LED be off, and 255 is the highest it could go, or the brightest. Here we have our libraries. These libraries allow us to use the Bluetooth on the ESP32. In these lines here, we create the server and the characteristics we're going to use for the slider value. These are the variables we used. This line tracks if a device is currently connected. And this line tracks if there was a previous connection. And right here, this stores values, which we honestly don't use in this circuit. This code is part of a previous code we used for another example. That code kept track of ESP time on the ESP32. So this value is not really used in our code. Right here we have the pin we use for the LED. And this is to store the slider value. We start at 0. Here we have our variables. This is the service UUID, which is what the ESP32 is going to advertise. And this is our slider UUID. This has to be the same as the code in the MIT app. Right here we handle callbacks for when a device is connected or disconnected. If a device is connected, we set the device connection to true. If it disconnects, we set the device connection to false. Here we handle the callbacks when data is received, which from the characteristic, which is the slider value. And like I said, we get the slider value as a string. We convert the string into an integer, and so that the ESP32 can read it. Here we print the slider value to the serial monitor and store the value to the slider input, so we can update that so we could put that into the LED. Here in the setup, we begin the serial monitor and set the LED as an output. This will be the name of our ESP32 and how it will appear when someone's trying to connect to it. Here we create the service with our service UUID. In these lines, we create the characteristic using our slider UUID. We make it readable and writable so we could get the slider values. Here we create the descriptors and enable notifications, which updates the slider position if it's changed. Down here, we start the service so people can connect. This advertises our ESP32. Here in the loop, we use this line to control the brightness based on the slider input. This if statement right here can honestly be erased because we used it before to keep track of the ESP32, the time it was on. And since we don't use that for this project, these few lines could be erased. Right here, we just handle the disconnection logic. If we disconnect the device, it starts to advertise again. And this is also extra if you want to add some other stuff is disconnected. Thank you.